Hey everybody, in today's video we will be talking about Shang-Chi. There will be a Shang-Chi movie coming out in 2021 and he will be played by Simu. So I figured it'd be a good video to add to our Marvel Phase 5/4 videos. Let's get going. First thing about the movie I just want to say quickly is that there's a rumor going around that the movie will have a similar tone and feel as The Matrix. So that'll be pretty cool. Alright, Shang-Chi, he's been a member of the Avengers, Heroes for Hire, MI6, along with a few other groups. He first appeared in December of 1973. He's known as the Master of Kung Fu. His mastery over Kung Fu and his hand-to-hand combat abilities are so good that even Ares, the Greek god, acknowledged him as being one of the few mortals who can hold their own against the god even without using magic. Much of his physical abilities seem to come from his mastery of Chi, which often allows him to surpass his physical limitations. He's not like superhuman in a way that like Captain America's his stamina is, but he is like a more advanced athlete, if you can think of it like that. So, he has a mastery of his own Chi, and so much so that he's very in tune with Chi being emitted by everybody. And it comes to the point where there's this one storyline where he's able to even detect Jean Grey, who psionically masked herself. And he could tell that was Jean Grey because he could sense her energy, because everyone's Chi is unique. And he's like, that's Jean Grey over there. So that's a really cool ability. He kind of reminds me of Iron Fist in a different way, because Iron Fist has a mastery of Chi as well. But, Iron Fist has some sort of magic, right? He has the Iron Fist, one of the heavenly powers. So yeah, that makes him a very interesting and cool character. He has these bracers that Tony Stark gave him. And these bracers allow him to focus his Chi in a way that allows him to increase his strength. I think Tony Stark also gave him a nunchuck that can shoot repulsors. So that's kind of cool. Later in the Marvel continuity, there's a storyline where he gets exposed to cosmic radiation from the incursions, which give him the power to create unlimited duplicates of himself. Yeah, that's just bonkers. But imagine, it's kind of like Multi-Man, right? Imagine seeing a character make tons of versions of himself. So that could be really cool. I don't know the extent of that ability, but every source I ever found said it was unlimited and countless. So I don't think we'd be seeing that right away in the movie, but, down the line, I think we totally could see that, and it'd be really cool. In the Secret Wars storyline, he's able to use 9 of the 10 techniques of the 10 Ring School, which are based off of the Mandarin's 10 rings, of course. He later learns and teaches Kitty Pryde how to master the skill and her power, I guess, of intangibility, so how, she walks through objects. He also develops a new technique that turns his opponents to stone. I don't know if that's magic-based. I don't really know what storyline it comes from, but when I was doing some research on him, I did find that, so it's just something to note. Again, I don't think he'll come out with all these powers. I think he'll start as a master of Kung Fu. I think he will delve into his father a little bit, which we'll talk about in a second. And, as time goes on, he'll learn these abilities. So his publication ties are pretty interesting. Basically, Marvel wanted to get into the Kung Fu hype in the 70s. They were trying to get the rights to a Kung Fu TV show, but they were denied because the show was owned by Warner Communication, who owned DC Comics. So instead, they got the rights to Sax Rohmer's villainous character, Dr. Fu Manchu, and from there we get Shang-Chi. So Shang-Chi is actually one of the unknown sons of Fu Manchu. Yes, this Fu Manchu is the same one from the classic Kung Fu movies and the books and characters and stuff, except for the Marvel continuity version of him. It's a different universe. So what happened in those movies and books and everything is different than the one that's happening in the Marvel stuff, but it is the same character though. His father is the main enemy of most of his storylines, and he's always trying to stop his father's plans for world domination and everything, evil people do. His father has his own secret organization of Kung Fu fighters who constantly battle MI6 and other intelligence organizations, which is one of the reasons why Shang-Chi joins MI6 to help fight against his father. Just some ideas of how they maybe do in the movie. The movie, they could make his father the Mandarin. I only bring this up because we know the Mandarin will be in that movie, but I guess we had a version of the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, but then Marvel released a one-shot, I believe, sometime after the movie, and they were like, oh no, the real Mandarin is here, he's in this jail, and it was called like The King or something. It's on YouTube, you can go find it. And they showed him escaping jail. So is that Mandarin the same Mandarin that's going to be the one that escaped, not the fake one, not the dude who exploded in orange goo or whatever, the one that escaped in the one shot? Is he going to be the same one that they're going to be in this movie? They could combine characters. They could say that Fu Manchu is the Mandarin in this universe. They've done that before. Like, in Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, Ned is a combination of several characters in the Spidey comics. So we've seen them do stuff like this before. They could do that. They can maybe say Fu Manchu works with the Mandarin, like they're partners and they both lead the Ten Rings together or something. Or maybe Fu Manchu kills the Mandarin and gets the Ten Rings, or vice versa. Yeah, it should be interesting. The Ten Rings are basically alien artifacts that give the user powers, and they're like technology based. So in the comic, so he's a super genius. He has knowledge of every field. I think he's a medical doctor and even a surgeon at one point. Yeah, he is, because he uses biological warfare against his enemies. He like creates viruses and diseases and uses them against them. He's also a master of disguise and can pass for any ethnicity and even speak any language he wants without an accent. So you know what? Actually, what's kind of interesting, you could have him, maybe he's been here in various scenes. Like, let's say, for example, Cap was acting weird in this movie and this scene. Well, you could have him. We know the Skrull invasion stuff is going to be happening soon, and so, we could do different stuff like that. I'm pretty sure one of the main Avengers has been a Skrull for most of these movies, but you could have him even be a main character for part of this time. You could have him be the quote-unquote Mandarin that escaped jail. So he's been hiding his face. He doesn't want to show his true identity. Boom. Problem solved. But yeah, you can show him throughout time influencing history. Maybe he's the president one day, and he can hypnotize people with his eyes, and it's worked for everyone except for a couple of people, so it's almost like it will work. So imagine a very powerful figure hypnotizing people. There was once a revelation that his true identity is the ancient sorcerer Zhang Zhu. He's a master of mystic arts, and he discovered immortality. So again, you could show him throughout history influencing it, and he's been here. Maybe started World War II, maybe convinced Red Skull to do this a lot. And there's a lot you can do with that, so that's pretty cool. But because, he's magic based a bit, maybe you have Doctor Strange showing up and helping Shang-Chi fight his father. That can be kind of interesting. A couple of storylines that he's a part of. Shang-Chi is a part of a lot of storylines, but one of my favorite storylines is the Daredevil Shadowland. So Daredevil never kills. Not like Batman, who people say doesn't kill, but there's tons of comic storylines where Batman goes around and kills people. I'm ignoring the movies, right? Obviously, movie worlds are different than comics, but in the comics, there's tons of stories where Batman kills people, but there's only one comic that Daredevil actually kills someone, because it's so against his religion, because Daredevil's such a religious character. And so he returns to Hell's Kitchen, and he becomes the leader of the Hand, right? Yeah, I know. The Hand is like number one enemy. So he becomes the leader of the Hand because he's like, okay, if I can't beat them, what if I joined them, became their leader, and control the evil organization for good, use them for good. Sort of like you can think about Arrow season 3, when he becomes the leader of the League of Assassins, and he becomes Ra's al Ghul. Same idea. But so in this comic, Daredevil's very sporadic, and he's doing extreme things when he's fighting criminals. For example, he just straight up kills Bullseye, and that's one of the turning points where some of the good heroes are like, yo, you can't kill these villains. And Daredevil's like, screw it. They're going to keep escaping jail. The system's broken, so let's just take them out. And so the Hand and him are going around killing villains and using torture methods. It's really gruesome, but it's really cool to see that side of that character that we don't ever see. But we find out he's possessed by the Beast of the Hand, and Beast of the Hand is a demon, and this explains why he's been doing these extreme and erratic actions, like killing people. So I don't know if you really count that as he's ever killed someone. I guess his body did, but maybe his mind didn't. I don't really know how that works. That's a philosophy question for another video or something. I don't know. So the heroes actually team up with Kingpin and Lady Bullseye, because those two, especially Kingpin, want to preserve his criminal empire, because Daredevil and the Hand are just destroying everything. They team up, and in the storyline, Iron Fist ends up using his mystical chi healing ability to heal Daredevil, which releases the Beast of the Hand. But to break the spell the Beast has on Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil ends up killing himself before he can take control of him again. And so after that, his body disappears, and everyone's sad. Everyone's like, oh my god, Daredevil just killed himself because the demon was about to take over again, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so he kills himself. It's real sad, but it's revealed at the end of the story that Elektra took his body. His body disappeared because she used magic or whatever, and took his body, and she ends up reviving him, and he comes back later. And there's even follow-up storylines where he is just like so down on himself because he killed people. Yeah, it's a good storyline though. It's very good. I recommend reading it. So, yeah, just a quick summary of that. It's really crazy. I would love to see that play out one day. The characters in that storyline are crazy. You got Wolverine, Luke Cage, Ghost Rider, Punisher. There's so many people in that story. I would love to see this story one day in the movies. It'd have to be R. It'd have to be an R-rated movie for sure. Another cool storyline he's a part of is the Secret Avengers, where Madam Web ends up telling him how to teach Spider-Man the art of Kung Fu because Spider-Man loses his Spidey sense, or, his Peter Tinkle. And Spider-Man ends up developing his own martial arts style with Shang-Chi called the Way of the Spider. A great name, right? So this is kind of leads into the Spider Island storyline, which is basically a spider virus is released throughout New York City, or just Manhattan specifically, and people are just turning into spiders. Like giant monster spiders. But when they're in their human form, they also have Spider-Man's abilities. It's very interesting, and one of the people that gets infected is Shang-Chi. He gets infected, but he doesn't ever want to use his powers. He keeps having nightmares of him attacking innocent civilians as a giant spider. But he doesn't realize that these nightmares are actually his memories. These are his memories of him terrorizing and killing people. And they can turn back and forth, but there's a point in the story where they say, like, once you turn into like a giant spider, you're kind of stuck that way. So he tries to help Spider-Man and some of the other heroes stop the civilians that are turning bad, the villains that are turning bad, and even the heroes that turned bad. The storyline also features the other immortal weapons. Iron Fist is an immortal weapon. There are 7 or 9? I don't remember. But it involves all of them as well. And that storyline gets very big and very cool and crazy. So that'd be something really interesting to see, like 5 years down the line, where some of these characters are developed. And this could be, your quote unquote Avengers movie, right? It's obviously focused on a bunch of different characters. Yeah, a team up movie like that storyline gets kind of nuts because there are villains that are even scarier now because they have Spider-Man's powers, and then there are heroes who are turning into giant spiders and eating people. So, and there's regular people too. So, yeah, it gets pretty insane. He's a part of a lot of very cool and crazy storylines. So I think it's awesome that Marvel is going forward with this character, and we're going to see him in his own solo movie, and hopefully we'll see him in other crossover type movies and projects like this. I did not even touch the base of the crossover storylines he's in. He's in so many. But yeah, this video is probably long enough, so that will be it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, helps the channel. Yeah, and I'll see you guys for the next one.